I have guitarist and founding member of Great White, Mark Kendall. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, Rich. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. It's great to have you on. Great to have you on.
Thank you. Thank
Now,
you, sir.
You guys are about to get pretty busy. You have a new album dropping worldwide on June 2nd, I believe, called Full Circle.
Yeah, that's right.
Full Circle, and the title of the album, I'm thinking it's not a coincidence. Full Circle is, after listening to it the last few days, which by the way I love it. It kind of sounds like you guys went back to your roots on this a little bit. And so talk to me about, was it a conscious effort or was it just something that just, organically happened in the studio?
At first, we're trying to name the record. We usually finish the songs before we start, thinking of stuff like that,
Right.
And we didn't really want to name it after a song because it just wouldn't really have any meaning. So the reason we thought of Full Circle, or actually Michael, my keyboard player, Michael Artie, came up with the title, was Michael Wagner had done our first EP and first album more than 30 years ago. Now, 30 plus years later, here we are recording with Michael Wagner again. So it's back to the beginnings. And we just thought, Full Circle, that makes a lot of sense, It's like going back to the very beginning again with the original producer.
Right, and I do want to touch on Michael because when we talked before we started the podcast about talking about gear and stuff, he is, as far as guitar tones go, he's the guy.
Oh yeah,
and he's all up on to the latest technology. But before we get to that, I want to now if I were an A&R guy, which I'm not, listening to this to the tracks on the record, there were there's 10 tracks. There were 5 tracks on that record that I could see being singles. And one of them is Big Time. Is that the first single, Big Time?
Yeah, that was the first single, and not by design by any means, because we would never put the single 8th on the record had we, we're not going to hide the hits, you know what I mean? So it was kind of one of those deals where we played a lot of friends. We played it for some of the fans and stuff, and they kept coming to us with that song. They just said, this is vintage Great White, it has the dynamics, the big chorus,
Well, the intro guitar on that kind of reminded me of not the intro of the song "Rock Me" from way back, in the '80s. Just the little guitar that you have going on at the beginning of that. But then, the song completely changes. It doesn't sound anything like "Rock Me," but I hear a little bit of that influence.
Yeah.
Just the way it's played in the timing of it, which was really cool.
That's kind of one of our niches is the dynamics in songs. Because originally when Rock Me did come out, and we'd never had a hit prior to that, and we'd been around since 82, so in 87, we, recorded this album for Capitol. We got our second chance, if you will. And the first song that we're putting out is over 7 minutes, you know what I mean? So that had me a little, I felt like the song was strong, but I just go, like we're not Phil Collins. We don't have like 18 other hits behind this thing. Right. And, how are they going to deal with the length? So our manager came up with the idea to just say when he'd send it to the radio, the time said 3:59 on the top length of the song. By the time they figured it out, the song was a hit. The phones had been lighting up for days, so... But I thought that was kind of brilliant. He actually put 3:59 after every song on the record. So
keep it under 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, 3:59 was brilliant. Funny.
Well, I mentioned I hear 5 singles, so to me these are my 5 my favorite songs that they're stuck in my head, which is a good thing. The opening track, I'm Alright, just has that big anthemic chorus to it. And it's not like you're trying to reinvent the wheel. You're just playing, rock and roll. It's the big background vocals, the production, the way Michael does things. And then the other one that kind of hit me a little bit was "Let Me In," which was the ballad on the album, which is a really, really nice song. It's a love song, obviously. But so talk to me, like, how did songwriting? Did you guys all get together? Was it like while you were in the studio, or was it a thing where you were all in your own homes, your own studios, and you put little pieces together, sending it back and forth?
yeah, with Let Me In, we're still really old school in the sense. I used to use micro cassettes, but when I come up with these ideas, now I put it on my phone. I mean, if you want to call that modern technology, whatever, but
It
it's the
is.
same. It's the same, you know, way I used to do things. So none of that has changed. But Let Me In, I did have practically the whole song when I showed it to the band, and had the chorus.
Hmm.
You know, didn't have any lyrics or anything, but just the chorus and that. But we all kind of write on our own, then we get together. We literally only got together 8 times to make this record, so we weren't really as prepared as probably Michael Wagner would like us to be.
And you went
I
down to
mean,
Nashville, right? You went down to Nashville to his studio
yeah,
to record
we
this.
lived there for 2 months. We rented a house and stuff, and just it was just like no distractions whatsoever. So it was awesome in that regard.
So you got to
But
see
yeah,
his. Oh, let's go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I was just saying the way we write is we once we have the ideas and stuff, we do get together. We got together 4 times in a kitchen with Audie playing this little electronic drum. Got nothing done really. But the last 4 rehearsals, we go, okay, we're going to Wagner's in like a week. We better figure this out. We come up there with no songs. He's not gonna like it. So he wanted a demo, and so we used an iPad in the rehearsal room. We got the arrangements together one at a time, but we didn't have the lyrics, so the singer was just scatting, and so we went there with pretty much not a lot of lyrics. Normally the way he does things, he goes out to where the band is, works on the songs every day, and then you make a demo and send it to him 2 months before you go there, so he can work on the songs.
Hmm.
So this wasn't. He was breathing easy once it was done, but I don't think he liked our preparation skills.
Yeah, he seems to be kind of. He wants it well rehearsed. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the German thing, you know.
Yeah.
They like things, they're ducks in a row, and they like the bands to know what they're doing, and But we told him not to worry, and he was great, and he's a really great guy to work with, man. He's a high end pro, and I don't just mean because he's an icon and done all these bands. Just the way he treats you when you're recording, he gets the maximum out of the performance because he doesn't make you nervous. He never rolls his eyes or says you can get one. But he's funny because auto tune or pitch correcting or any kind of stuff like that. His thing is if the singer doesn't do a good performance, he just says very, very non-euphemism language, don't sing flat, So, he just keeps everything simple. But yeah, he's an amazing dude.
Now, you guys had just put out a like a short, like it's a minute long video, kind of to like pump up the album. And are there going to be music videos for this? Because I could have sworn it was it the song Moonshine. Moonshine, was it Moonshine?
No,
that you did?
we did a music video for Big Time, which is I guess you'd call it the first single. Or
Right.
whatever. Yeah,
But
we just finished that. And the film guy, he made that little one thing. We didn't even ask him to do that. He goes, "Oh, trip on this," and kind of use some of the video in it.
Okay.
And put that together just for whatever reason. And we go ahead, promo video. That's
Right.
nice. Thank you.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to seeing you have a DVD, companion DVD coming out with the
Yes.
record, which is like the making of the album. So you kind of
Yeah.
documented the whole way through.
Yeah. We hired this film company called Rockslide Media just to go there and just hang out and just film us, making the record. I just thought, years ago I had seen this Deep Purple making of, but it was done 25 years after the album was made, but it was still the bass player hanging out at the board, pushing up one fader at a time. So you're hearing Blackmore do these things that you don't really notice in the track, like real machine-like one note, picking stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just so rad. It was so cool to see that. I just thought it would be, really cool to bring the fans in the studio and let them see kind of how we make records or how we argue, what we're arguing about, and just stuff like that. And just get that look of, behind the scenes.
I love that stuff because, like I said, me being a guitar player, it also, like, I pay extra attention when bands do these documentaries and they're in the studio, and you kind of pick up, you learn some stuff on what to do and what not to do. So I'm looking forward to it, especially with Michael Wagner being in
And
it
he
too.
does it differently. He does it different than what we're used to, and I love it. I always want to do it this way, which is the whole band plays together to get the drums right. Once that happens, our guitars, our basic guitars are on the track, so the bass player can do his parts.
Hmm.
Then they're gone, and then we do one song at a time. And I really like doing one song at a time because it eliminates a singer having to sing 4 songs in a day and burning himself out. It doing like 4 or 5 rhythm tracks in one day and dividing my focus all over the place. That way you can just focus on that song, and when it's great, move on to the next song. It's a great way to record. It's just really efficient.
So going off of that, how were you guys used to doing it? Was it all just everybody play like a live?
Yeah, we burn the singer out. I go until my arm, I can't lift it anymore.
That's how you got it right.
We do it all wrong. But yeah, this was just a good way to record. We're kind of taken back by it a little bit. We're like, okay, we've never done that before, but let's try it. And I loved it.
Cool.
I never want to do it any other way.
All right, so let's move on to working with Michael and being in his studio. And I suppose you saw his wall of guitar amps and all the inputs and all that stuff. Crazy stuff. Now he's a big Kemper user, Kemper guitar amplifier profiler. Did you guys use any of it, like the newer technology like that, or as far as guitars go, or was it more of the old style of?
Well, I can tell you, when I first went in, he told me about it. I was totally against not having cabinets blaring and and even checking it out. What is it, amp farm? I'm not into all that buzzy amp sounds. He goes, no. He goes, it's real profiling. Like the sound waves are exactly like the amp. He's A and B'd it. Had a guy play, and then he played through the Kemper, and you couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, I'll try it. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so consistent because you're not dealing with mics on cabinets.
Right.
Because one thing I noticed when, over the years, recording, like you're standing in the room, you're listening to a 4x12 cabinet with the best Marshall head in the world, right? And you're hearing it this certain way. And then when you go back and listen back to the tape, it doesn't sound like the way your head heard it. So you have to deal with a lot of mic placement, and it's just a lot of work when this is just so consistent sounding. It's real cabinets, real profile cabinets. You can push the head, you can push the tubes. It has a feature on there where you're really feeling like it's saturated tubes, and if you turn your guitar down, it's clean.
Yep.
Turn it up, it's that cranking old kind of just old Marshall song before they started putting the gain on them.
Right.
The old 4 input.
Yeah, the response and feel is there. I've owned 2 Kempers, and so I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I couldn't believe it at first either. But the feel is there. It feels, yeah. Now, are you going to bring those Kempers on the road, or are you just going old school? And
eventually, I think do that. The only thing I'm kind of against, I don't mind that I'll use. He in fact gave me all the amps I used, so I can literally program every song.
Right.
I like to feel the cabinets on stage, so I'm going to have that, even if they're not mic'd. I just like the fullness. I don't want to just be playing out of wedges, and I don't use in-ears. I've never liked them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they've upgraded their technology with the in-ears, but I always feel removed from the audience, like I'm in the studio.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're reacting. I don't know. I'd rather have a bad wedge than have those things in my ears.
Well, you could
yeah.
I was gonna say you could get the powered Kemper. I had I had the powered head, and I ran through a 412 all the time.
Yeah.
Because I like feeling that ear pushing against the back of my legs from that those speakers. Yeah, I tried doing the monitor in front of me with it blaring right up on my face, and I'm you're just not used to that hitting you right in the face. You like that air space between.
If I hadn't been doing it this way for 45 years, maybe I mean, we're not Steely Dan, get me? I mean, I mean, I need amps, I need to feel it, I
Yeah.
need drums, bass. I mean, to have all that in your ears, like Michael Arty, he listens kind of at a lower volume, and I'm more, my ears are blown. I need to get them
Wow.
more blown or whatever. I mean, I have to feel it. I
Yeah.
need a lot of bass. I like bass and drums, to where I can really, that groove. I play so much different. If I can feel the drums and bass, I need a lot of bass and drums. And if I have that rhythm section, it makes me play, um, correctly dynamic. Like I know I can feel it. I get everything I need from my volume on my guitar. As simple as that sounds, if I use too many pedals and stuff and they're pre-set to clean sounds and stuff, sometimes that really wasn't how I felt how the volume should be. So I love that control, of the volume on my guitar. Um, so I'm a pretty stripped down player these days. I don't have, 138 presets. And, one time I was in Japan, this guy actually, it was going down to the breakdown and Rock Me. He did all my switching for me. And out of nowhere, I'm going to the clean sound, all confident, guitar wide open. And all of a sudden, Tony Iommi appeared out of nowhere. It was like, I'm going, no, because I was so confined to these pedals. I was standing there like, I don't even know what guitar player does that, but I didn't want to have to be there all the time and put on the show. I got to be, right in front of this pedal board the whole night. I mean, it's just goofy. So I go, you're not doing nothing besides changing my strings. You do the switching. Come down to a couple rehearsals. Work for your money. Work for a living, bro.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing was as far as effects. The good thing about the Kemper is, and Michael's probably told you, whatever, if he needed a compressor or whatever on a certain guitar tone, it can be stored. Yeah. It's stored in that profile.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you do have the Kemper, the remote pedal board, the small little board that they sell, you can actually just go in performance mode and go in a row, and everything's there. You just press one button, it puts everything on that you need at once. Or the guy in the back can do it.
I love that. I love that because I do like compression on certain things. It sounds great on certain songs where you want the song to be a little tighter, not so round and a lot of EQ. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's definitely a couple songs where I had more of that. I even he had me play through this. It was just a small pedal and hooked it up to my phone, and it sounded. I mean, I sounded like Alvin Lee, like cranked up a little bit louder or something. I was blown away. And I'm playing through this pedal, that I could put in my pocket and my phone, and he just dialed something up. Are you kidding me? This is like crazy. But the Kemper, I was really impressed with that because I can't believe, nobody could tell me that a small machine like that could get real tube sounds. I just didn't believe it, until I played through it, and I go, okay, I believe you now,
Well, it's all. I mean, I've heard some really bad Kemper sounds. It's all in the guy that's profiling it, and Michael with his ears.
Well, he gave me a stick. He's a good man.
Like a
he gave
drive.
me a stick of all the tracks. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this actually has
those.
Profiles on it right here from my buddy and I actually sell profiles.
That is awesome, man. That's good that you have that because I'm not really that technical. Michael kind of is, but to have the exact sounds of all the songs, I'm way ahead of the game right out of the gate. You know what I mean?
Well, the best thing is that you're tracking, right? You get everything done, and you think everything's good, and then you go to mix down, and you're like, something's not right with this guitar here. Then you got to go back. Back in the day, you would have to put the mics back on and try, and you would not get that exact same sound. Now you have it. We
did it. We did it in the studio. There was a song that I felt like it could use just a little bit more throat, more distortion. And I go, what do we do? Dial up another sound and get a little bit more? And he goes, oh no, I got it. He just added
On the
just
stick.
one little twist,
Yeah.
ran the track once. There it is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Too, it's great for. I know you guys are doing a tour coming up starting next month, right, in June, U.S.
Yeah.
tour, and
Uh-huh.
now based on the Kemper, if you're going overseas, it's great to have something like that because you bring that little lunchbox thing, a little Kemper, or you can have them
Yeah.
backline it, and you just bring your like 2 or 3 sticks backed up with all your sounds, and you don't need to bring
Or you
anything.
could use a bad Marshall that they'll provide that, hasn't changed the tubes in like 10 years.
Right, and then you can actually run the Kemper right through that. Just use that for power and run it through your
It
412.
it seems like it's going to be really easy to travel with. Michael already has. He got something like it's not a camper, but it's I don't know what he got, but I'm going to get one. I just like the idea of having that consistency every night.
Yeah, especially
A
with
lot of times we'll play with an opening act and kind of share the back line, and they move the mics all over the place, so they're not even on the same spot on the mic after they get through. So it's like sound check's almost worthless. But if I have the Kemper, it's not going to matter because it's going directly out of the monitors and straight to the house. So I mean, how can you go wrong?
Yeah, it's a great time to be a guitar player these days. It is. There's too many options. Before we wrap this up, I want to go back to the new record, which is called Full Circle, coming out on June 2nd worldwide.
Yeah.
Are you guys? Is it just going to be like download, or are you actually doing physical CDs?
Yeah, we got the physical CDs. We're working on getting it in stores and a little bit more distribution. If you buy the hard copy of the CD, it's like you were talking about. It's accompanied with the making of DVD. So and it's in the same package. It's not like we'll throw you one if you buy the record. It's in it. So, but some people just like to download songs. So it's on like 35 stores. I mean, I don't think there's anywhere you can't find it. So the iTunes, the Amazon, all that stuff. And they actually have samples of the songs on Amazon already.
Yeah, they do.
And the pre-orders will be on the 21st, which is just a couple of days down the road here.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, you can hire a company to do your digital thing, but it really only takes a phone call to do it. So you can give somebody 30% if you feel like it. But it's amazing how you can do. We just got like a team of assassins that know the internet so well and the media and that they do a pretty good job of getting the news out. That's what we have to do these days. It's like, we don't have MTV. We have no radio per se. I mean, we have the satellite and a few people play new music, but, we like to share new music with the fans, and it keeps us motivated to keep making music. So it's not like a waste or anything. Keeps us from going through the motions, becoming an oldies band, just out there playing our old hits. We'll always play those songs, but we got to keep being creative.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the painter that goes out selling the same painting every year. I mean, you go crazy.
No, I urge people, like, if you're a fan of Great White, it's got that classic sound, and the songs, there's so many hooks in these songs too. Like nowadays, you listen to the radio and I don't hear like I'm a big melodic rock fan, and even the melodic rock that's out nowadays, I don't hear this album. I mean, every song has a hook in it, which is that's right up my alley. So
right on now.
If you
Thank
if you like Great White, through the years, this is. And I'm not just saying this because you're on.
No, I understand.
This is a good rock album, and that's the simplest way I can put it. A rock and roll album. That's all it is.
Thanks so much, David. I know you're a musician, so I really appreciate the kind words about the album, because I really feel it's strong, and we usually have to love it. You're kind of selfish in that way, but you do pray that people are going to like it, but we have to like it first, and we're thrilled, with the outcome. And Michael Wagner, he's a taskmaster. I mean, the dude. There's no denying it. I mean, he's done almost every band from our era has ran into Michael Wagner in a studio somewhere. I mean, Ozzy, Metallica, Alice Cooper. I mean, iconic legends. and he's the guy, behind the board, figuring it all out.
Yeah, one of my
and plus
I was gonna say one of my favorite albums that he's done was Warrant's Doggy Dog.
oh yeah, that was a
The
great
guitar
album.
tones on that and Janie's songwriting too. Besides that, but yeah, he's just a monster in the studio, and it's good to see you guys back with him.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome to watch him work, after all these years, and he's upgraded. I mean, he's nonstop working on his craft. He invents things that get rid of buzz. I mean, he has people from all over the world, engineers, go to his workshops. They talk new miking techniques. He's constantly coming up with things. He has like 1,000,000 pedals. He has like 70 guitars in the studio hanging all over the place. I mean, the guy's like a madman.
I got to try to get him on the podcast just to talk about all the.
That'd be awesome, and I know he'd be willing.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out.
He told
to
us
him.
he told us he would do interviews to talk about this record. He
cool.
still has it in his car. He told me.
Well, it's in my car.
This album kicks ass. I go right on, buddy.
It's a perfect. Well, like funny you mentioned the car. It's the perfect. Summertime's coming up. It's 90 degrees here outside today, which is great. But it's the perfect, record to just blast when you're driving around. Cool. Well, let's. I want to thank you so much for taking the time here today, and wish you the best of luck with this new record. Again,
thanks so much, man.
It's Full Circle. Comes out on June 2nd. Check it out. The website is, I believe, it's officialgreatwhite.com.
Yeah, officialgreatwhite.com. And like I said, if you just want the music only, you can get it on any download site.
Yep. And the CD, if you buy the CD, it will come with a DVD for the making of the album.
Yeah. Pretty much you watch the songs grow because it's, like I said, we weren't super prepared. So you really get to see it grow into what it became. So, and we'll have it in Best Buy, Walmart, Target. They're working on that right now. So if you're the type guy that goes to one of the final places you can get a
that's
record
me,
or whatever.
Actually, that's me. So I'll probably see it there. But
all right, man.
So cool. Thanks. We'll
Thanks
keep
so
in
much,
touch.
Rich.
Keep in touch. I'm gonna see how this album does, and maybe we'll get you on again at some point.
Hey, that'd be sweet, man. Thank you.
Cool. Have a good one.
Awesome. You too, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much to Mark Kendall of Great White. Don't forget, their new album comes out June 2nd worldwide. It's called Full Circle. Like I said in the interview, I had a chance to listen to these for a few days, and it is just fun rock and roll. And the production is insane, great as always, as it should be, with Michael Wagner behind the board for you. Check it out. Their website is officialgreatwhite.com, and I'm sure you just do any kind of search. Like Mark said in the interview, go on Amazon if you want to get a taste of the tracks. You can go on there and listen to some sound clips. My favorite song on there is I'm All Right, the first track on the album. It's got a huge chorus with great harmony, backing vocals, and just stuff I love. So, and also I wanted to remind you, and I mentioned it earlier, coming up we got Jason Wade of Lifehouse, Brittany De Niro of Vixen, Pete Evick of the Bret Michaels Band, Mark Martel of the Queen Extravaganza, just to name a few. So keep hitting that all the likes, the subscribes, thumbs up, whatever you want to do. As long as it's positive, keep coming back, and I'll keep pumping these things out. So until next time, take care.